Well, we're past Thanksgiving, now we're in December, Christmas time, and when things in the NFL start to heat up. Let's discuss Week 13. Alright, our Thursday night game is going to be Dallas taking on New Orleans. This is going to be an interesting matchup for two reasons. Well, three. One, these two teams played on Thanksgiving, so they have back-to-back Thursday games. Two, the Cowboys have been struggling lately, haven't looked as good as they did early on. And three, we have Taysom Hill starting over Trevor Siemian. Hopefully that helps things out with the Saints. Now, it's a tough one, but in the end, I'm going to go with the Cowboys over the Saints on this one. I think with the talent that Dallas has, they have to rebound at some point. Giants are taking on the Dolphins. For the Dolphins, they've won 4 straight games. That's not an easy feat considering where they were not too long ago. As for the Giants, yeah, they've done some good things this year, but they still have a lot of questions that need to be answered. Luckily, they're going to have more than one first-round pick this year, but the real question is going to be, how is Daniel Jones going to do during these final weeks of the season? Can he put together a good string of games that make the Giants think maybe there's still something that they can do with him? As for this game, going with the Dolphins. Indianapolis taking on Houston. Well, what more can you say about Houston there? 2-8 right now, one of the worst teams in the NFL. Nothing more you can say about that. But Indianapolis, they are fighting for a wild card spot right now. They blew the lead against Tampa Bay last week, but against Houston, I'm going with the Colts over them. Minnesota taking on Detroit. Detroit, you had the win in your hands! How did you screw that up? As for Minnesota, again, this is probably one of the most up and down teams in the NFL this year. I'm picking Minnesota over Detroit. Detroit, they just do not want to win a game this year. Philadelphia taking on the Jets. For Philadelphia, they have rebounded nicely. Now the question is going to be, is it enough for them to get back into the playoff race and maybe get a wildcard spot? We'll see. As for the Jets, yes, they did get back Zach Wilson, but the Jets are still the Jets. Give me Philadelphia. Arizona taking on Chicago. Chicago's coming off a win against Detroit on Thanksgiving, while Arizona's coming off a bye, and hopefully they're going to have both Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins back. If they have them back, I'm going to go with Arizona on this one. If not, got to think it over, but I think I would still go Arizona even without those two. Chargers taking on the Bengals. Chargers, they're another team that's been a little up and down this year. You can't really tell what's going to happen week to week with them. Meanwhile, for the Bengals, after that 2-game losing streak, they are red hot right now, coming off a blowout win over the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going Cincinnati over the Chargers. Tampa Bay taking on Atlanta. For Atlanta, picked up a win against Jacksonville. Meanwhile, Tampa Bay had a come-from-behind win against the Colts. I'm going Tampa Bay over Atlanta. Jaguars taking on the Rams. For the Rams, they've struggled the last few weeks. Luckily, they're playing the Jaguars, which have been one of the worst teams in the NFL this year. I'm going to go with the Rams to get back on track this week. Washington taking on the Raiders. Raiders able to pick up a win in Dallas on Thanksgiving. That was a good game by them. Meanwhile, Washington able to survive a scare against the Seahawks Monday night. Even though Washington's coming off a short week and they're playing in Las Vegas, they have to make an East Coast to West Coast trip. I'm still going to go with the football team on this one. Baltimore taking on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off a blowout loss to the Cincinnati Bengals. Meanwhile, Baltimore able to squeeze out a win against the Cleveland Browns, even though Lamar Jackson threw 4 interceptions. Now, remember, Lamar was coming off an illness. He wasn't really 100%. He might be 100% against the Steelers, but I gotta go with Pittsburgh on this one because when you lose a game as badly as they did to the Bengals, you're really going to be motivated to show that that was just a fluke, especially against a division rival. San Francisco taking on Seattle. San Francisco, they have moved themselves back into the playoff race. This team is really starting to come together. Meanwhile, for the Seahawks, they're 3-8. This is the worst season since Russell Wilson first came into the league. I have no idea what happened to this team. Give me San Francisco. Denver taking on KC. This is what's interesting. If Denver wins this game, they get a share of first place in the AFC West. That's what's going to be crazy about this. KC, yeah, they've been winning lately, but there are times where their offense is still struggling. So you don't really know what's going to happen week to week with them. Even though we had that, they're playing at home. Give me KC. And the Monday night game is New England taking on Buffalo. Winner of this game gets first place in the division. Buffalo, defense has been good, but offense has been inconsistent. However, against the Saints, maybe that's the start of a turnaround with this offense. Meanwhile, New England, they are the hottest team in the NFL right now. There's a reason they sit at the record that they have right now, and they have first place in the AFC East. It's just been amazing how this team was able to overcome that slow start and just win like they have lately. And I say they get the win on the road against the Bills Monday night. Alright guys, those were my picks for Week 13, and I'll see you next time.